5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Are you sitting comfortably?
What do you want me to say?
Then we'll begin.
I hope you enjoy it. I think you will.
So, Steve, what fond memories do you have of these people? Are they your friends?
The force of gravity makes you want to move. It runs up your body and
Stop playing with that radio of yours. I'm trying to get to sleep.
Good evening, how you doing? It's just gone 7 o'clock. It is Prout Start Out live this evening. I tell you from the studios here down in Liskeard. How you doing? Happy New Year to you all. What have you been up to? Anything good? Let's try and get the tech to work this evening. He's gone, pressed the wrong button, hasn't he? It's always gone and done, pressed the wrong button. Never mind, we'll carry on regardless, because what have we got? We've got some birthdays, Stephen's birthday's coming up. We have got some of the great things. A survey here about being a man, many things like that, of course. We're going to discuss old Beardy Branson failing to get it up the other night down at the spaceport Cornwall. What could possibly go wrong launching a spaceship from Newquay? We're going to do a few things about where the best place is for pensioners to retire. It's not Liskeard, no, it's not. And we've also got the silly things that people leave in their hotel rooms. And if we've got space. And because I am indeed a BMW driver myself, we're going to say we are the most reckless drivers, apparently. But I don't believe any of these surveys. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a quick look, because I've come off my screen here completely. So I'm going to rejig this, and we're going to play our next track. We're going to keep it lively this evening. We're going to go to a bit of Guns N' Roses. Big shout to Woz who's tuned in this evening. Don't forget, he'll be on tomorrow night with Leo, of course, for the Wall of Pain. Right into that one. That was, of course, Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. So how you doing? New Year, of course. There Christmas went. Had a very interesting Christmas ourselves. Had a load of family over Christmas Day, so that was good. About 12 people over, and over to father-in-law's for Boxing Day, the annual trip to father-in-law's Boxing Day, of course. He's got his thing. His thing is every Christmas we go around there. He gets these very random Christmas crackers. Some years you've got bells in, some years you've got whistles, some you've got xylophones. The full works in there. Boxing Day, we're all ringing our bells like a deranged set of bell ringers. Campanologists, I think they're called campanologists, you see. That's the correct terminology, of course, for the old bell ringers. Yeah, doing a good job down there for sure. This evening, we're going to do some birthdays. Not done birthdays for a fair while, if I can see my dodgy bifocals on this evening. So, born this day, 1956, is a guy called Big Bank Hank. I'll let that name sink into you for a second there. I don't think that's his real name. I don't think his parents would have liked him too much if that's his real name. But he was from the Sugar Hill Gang. And do you remember Rapper's Delight? I'll tell you what, we just about dig it out. Where are we going to with that one? The Sugar Hill Gang there, of course, celebrating the birthday this day of Mr. Big Bank Hank. 65 today. I also get amazed when I read these out. 65 years old. Her name is Vicky Preston. And she's from the Bangles. Bangles there, celebrating the birthday, 65 today, Vicky Preston. I can't believe it. I still can't get over the fact that, some of these people from my youth, certainly from the 80s, are getting old, 65. Got to explain what I'm doing in the studio this evening. Well, I'm not sure what I'm doing in the studio, really. There's too many knobs, whistles and buttons in here for my liking. But anyway, look at home studio. In the bar, of course, for Prout's Night Out, we have a bar. We have a proper functioning bar. I've even brought some samples. Well, I'll tell you what, they look like samples. I can't get the big screen to come up, but they look like specimens, to be honest. But no, we've got a fully functioning bar down there with beer pumps, and out the back, in the back room, in the tap room, if you like, we have got a studio. We did have. Until about a week before Christmas, we lost complete power to the outbuilding, the studio, and the bar's housed in. So I thought, oh dear. Or something like that anyway. So I had to disappear and do a massive bit of rewiring. Got it all back on because we've got freezers and all sorts down there. Anyway, upshot is I've not been in the studio now since before Christmas, and it's got rather cold and damp and wet out there. And so what it is it's all gone to pieces. It's also my computer system has fried. put it that way. So I've got no studio. So for the time being, I'm going to come in here, Leo permitting with his allowance, let me into his studio and run right in here. I've got to say, it's a lot warmer and drier than my studio anyway. So that is me. That's what I'm in here for show 27, I think. Season 3 we've started. So we're getting there. We're getting there slowly. I did think a while ago when I was starting to do the work for my own studio, oh yeah, no more driving into Liscard on a Wednesday night in the wet and horrible. And what I've done this evening, it is gross out there. I tell you what, this country, it never stops raining. We have the greenest grass, of course, down in Cornwall, but you know why, of course, because it never stops pouring down. Let me do one more. I've finished me rant. One more birthday for today. She is 52, and her name is Miss Mary J. Bilge. Also Blige, whatever her name is. And we've got to track them up from her when the Bangles finally finish playing, because they're still in the background here somewhere, and we're going to have that. And then we got a little bit of some covers this evening as well. Got some covers coming up. So what are we doing here with this? It isn't working tonight. Let me just press the button. So that sounds like how I feel this evening. Wound down. It's terrible. Dearie me, that's enough of that. I think that was, of course, White Town Calls Your Woman. We are going to discuss some of the best things about being a man. There was one of these very wonderful surveys. Here you go, here's a picture. Oh dear, that's scary, isn't it? One of these wonderful surveys out to say why it is so good to be a man. Apparently, millions of men agree having a beard, worrying less about your figure, oh yes, don't put your face on, are the top reasons which makes being a bloke great, as opposed to being a woman. Well, men also reckon that age is much kinder to them. Grey, of course, adds character, as does your hair falling out. And being able to grow a beard to cover your double chin is always a good thing. Is one of the pros of being a chap, of course. The female traits of giving birth and the time of the month, which fellas never be concerned about, took over the 2 top spots of blokey benefits. It says here, the study also found going to the pub is one of the best things about being a man. Of course it is. 20% of us confess that we lie about being summer house when we're secretly sinking a pipe with mates. See, back in the day, of course, you couldn't do that. When you could smoke in the pub, you come and where you been? Oh, I've not been to the pub. You smoke an ashtray, I go up into the pub. Fair enough. You couldn't argue you were walking in the park, for example, could you? The study also found, it says here, the worst things about being a man was going bald and getting a beer belly. Tops the list amongst the pain of being kicked in the groin. Oh, dearie me. Completing the top 5 were man boobs, and also the expectation of us men of being able to fix things. So I've got 40 things here. Not going to go through all of them. Number 20. I suppose it depends what you like. You don't have to get waxed. Well, some people do, some people don't. Number 22. Men aren't bitchy when it comes to friendships. Gotta say, that's definitely true. Number 8 on this list, being able to get ready to go out in 10 minutes. I'll tell you the best thing I find, not just about getting ready to go out, is actually organising things. Right, so we've all got WhatsApp groups these days, haven't we? Got lots of friends on WhatsApp. So, the boys want to go to the pub, for instance, quick WhatsApp. Pub tonight, yep, 7 o'clock, job, bosh, bang, job's a good one, out we go. The women, and I'm going to infuriate the women, of course, the women have to do some pre-planning, don't they? They have to get together to pre-plan. Certainly my wife, she loves going away. She's off after Centre Parks up at Longley, I think, this weekend with her friends from Berkshire. And, they've invaded countries easier, shall I say. Not the women, well, possibly have done in the past, but it takes months and months of preparation. Us guys want to go do something. Yeah, got the tickets, got the show, let's go and do it. Let's go and see a gig, this, that and the other. It's nice and easy. It really is the way to go. And I've got a list here of the top 10 worst things about being a man. Of course, going bald is one of them. I noticed I was going bald. I used to work in a studio. Face them into this, not as nice as this one, of course. It's a lovely studio in here. But they had cameras behind you for some strange reason. Anyway, I was looking back on the video feed one day, and I said, why the heck has somebody glued a piece of pepperami to the back of my head? It was a bald patch. Terrible, but I'll get the headphones on top of it now, so it's all right. The beer belly, of course, the beer belly is going to go. Doesn't help, of course, when I bring this into the studio. Hunter's Brewery, by the way, crackling pig, cracking bit of beerage there. The pain experience of being kicked in the groin, number 3. Man booze, number 4. Be expected to fix, number 5. Cutting your face while shaving. Well, of course, the older your face gets, the worse it gets at being cut, doesn't it? Number 7. People assuming that life is easier for men. Oh no, it's not. You wouldn't want to be a man, trust me. Feeling that you can't show your emotions is number 8. Number 9, being judged when showing your emotions. And number 10 is being told to man up. I'll tell you, some people that never man up. This is our next act on the roster this evening. Had this playing New Year's Eve, and I do. Here's, of course, those British people. They're very macho. We're not doing track link this evening. That's Wall of Pain's drop tomorrow. That's just a little segue into that, of course. Letting us go on tomorrow night, of course. Wall of Pain, Neil and Leo, of course. We'll be in the studio, in this here studio tomorrow, providing it's still standing after I finished in here, doing a show, of course. They're going to have track link, of course, just to see what's happening, if that's still playing.
Whilst listening.
No, it's still. I've done something wrong. I'm going to just press stop all of it. It doesn't work anymore. Did you see the other night, of course, old Beardy Branson? Not quite sure if he's still involved with Virgin or not. You've got to argue, you've got to query a man with a company called Virgin, trying to get things up, really, haven't you? It's, I don't know. I do remember. I mean, he did his first his space launch a few years ago, didn't I? I remember we were in Spain at the time, just about to get onto a plane, and he's crashed into the desert, didn't he? His whatever it was, his rocket or his space shuttles. Of course, everybody went down to Newquay, didn't they? On Sunday night. And everyone queued up to go. He sold about 2,500 tickets to go and watch was, in essence, an aeroplane taking off. You know, I mean, if they can get that every weekend down there, they won't need to sell any airplane tickets, will they? If they can get people to go and watch airplanes taking off. I suppose they had the old train spotters, not train spotters, the plane spotters down there, of course. But all it was literally was a big old aircraft, big old Virgin aircraft with a rocket slung asunder. And all that worked, all went well. The aeroplane took off as it did. You know, airplanes take off and land every day of the week, no problem at all. It got to, had to get up to, and for some strange reason, the rocket didn't work. Who knows? Something like £10 million worth of rocket and satellites plunging into the Atlantic, as if it's not enough rubbish in the Atlantic as there is. Poor old Beardy. I don't even know if Beardy even runs it anymore. I'll say, you know, we did a few transatlantic flights with them, not with him personally, of course, with Virgin. They're very, very good. You know, you get a bit of turbulence across the Atlantic, but that's to be expected. But I don't know, you know, we've made this big thing. Cornwall is the place to come, to launch into space, to infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear had it, of course. Not quite sure if we're ready for that. You sort of see some of these rudimentary experiments up on the moors, don't you? I'm not sure I do them down here, certainly do up north. These sort of like big rockets they make out of, I don't know, baked bean cans and oil drums and whatever, and incendiary devices, and they launch them up about 20 foot and explode. Not quite sure if we are ready for that. But I tell you what we are ready for. We are going to keep the music coming. We have got the covers this evening. Got no jingles for it. But I know Wol likes the woman that shouts, "Cover me!" So that's the jingle for this evening. I have to get it ready for next week. We're going to start with I'm Too Sexy. What an absolutely awesome cover. The Stranglers there. Walk On By, of course, the Dionne Warwick hit, of course, from the 70s. We are going to play out this hour with a Frankie. It's relaxed, and it is the New York mix, don't you know? Band, of course, from Radio 1 back in the day. Mike Reed, I think, banned it. But of course, the minute he banned it, of course, it became more popular, didn't it? For the benefit of hindsight. I'll be back after the 8 with the news. Some stuff on bad habits, stuff left in hotels, and why Bangor is the place to be. Well, welcome back. Doesn't this not sound like a bit of TV test music? We apologise for the interruption in broadcast. Tomorrow's World will be back on shortly. In the meantime, here's some jolly music. That was ABBA, by the way. Intermezzo number 1, don't you know? The wife was playing an ABBA medley in the house the other day, and that came off. I thought, what a cracking song. Let's do some news, though. Rustling papers. Here we are. So we can't avoid Prince Harry, of course, can we? It says here, Prince Harry has accused members of the royal family of getting in bed with the devil over their links with the tabloid press, and admitted Meghan did not get on with William and Kate. You don't say! From the get-go. How Americans at the get-go. In an interview with ITV, Saturday night, what a rubbish. The Duke of Sussex insisted he did not have any intention to harm or hurt his brother or King Charles. With his memoir Spare, like a spare wheel more like, which includes a series of explosive allegations, apparently. Separately, speaking to the US show 60 Minutes, I've got to wonder if he can actually keep his story straight. Harry said he once viewed his stepmother Camilla, the Queen Consort, as the villain, and revealed he is still not speaking to William or Charles. Well, there you go. In other news here, it says it's skid mark alert. The latest thing killing the planet apparently is going for number 2. Campaigners say global warming is being ramped up by the world using too much toilet roll. Well, there you go. We're supposed to use the hand towel. The campaign group, Who Gives a Crap, that's the name apparently, say more than 1.9 million trees would need to be cut down each day to create enough traditional toilet paper to satisfy all the world's bottoms. Well, there you go, you see. And they're urging us to watch what we use. That's an interesting bit of watching, isn't it? And finally, what we've got here, couch potatoes. Couch potatoes, keen to escape the real world, are spending more than a full day glued to their TVs each week. I can barely find a couple of hours to watch, a whole week's worth of telly, but there you go. The average Brit here says here watches 28 hours of telly every 7 days, more than 1,300 a year. Wow. Families sit down to watch 20 box set episodes. The box sets are good. 8 sitcoms, 7 helpings of soap, and 5 football matches a month. Well, there you go. See, what can we follow that with? I tell you what, the ultimate couch potato, in my opinion, back in the day, were the Royal Family. And you know what you say to that toilet roll thing, don't you? My arse. Our most cracking bit of Oasis there, because half the world away from the Royal Family. And of course, our great friend Robin Dillnut has done a cracking cover of that. If you like that music and you like covers, well, there you go. Jump onto YouTube. Robin Dillnut is ROBYN Dillnut. Jump on there and listen to some of the choice selections she's got to play. And I say that's a cracking cover of that one, indeed. Made mention earlier of some of the things left in hotel rooms. I know we all leave phone leads, don't we? God dear me. I think that's why Apple's so successful. Every time you go away somewhere, you leave your little white lead lying around, don't you? But no, apparently some of the odder things says in this list here. A dog. How can you leave a dog? I assume it was alive. A drum kit, a typewriter, and a suitcase full of Blackpool Rock were among items left behind at a hotel chain last year, it says here. Other items Travelodge staff found included an inflatable unicorn, I'm glad it's a unicorn, and a marriage certificate. Well, there you go. The dog, here it says, bit of information, it's a Pomeranian Husky cross, I bet it was cross, named Beyonce, as a girl dog, I assume, was left at Manchester Central. There you go. And the case of Blackpool Rock was at the resort's South Promenade venue. The case of the Blackpool Rock, that to me sounds like a case for Columbo, doesn't it? The case of the Blackpool Rock. Here, just one more thing. Speaking of dogs, I don't know if you find us on Twitter. We've been following it a little bit on my show. I think they jumped onto Wall of Pain as well. The enduring saga of Margie and Ruby. 2 dogs missing, stroke, stolen. They've not been stroked probably since the 24th of June 2021 from the PL12 area. There are a couple of Norfolk Terriers. Now this made the national TV a few weeks ago. Apparently some lady appeared on This Morning. I don't watch it myself, dreadful programme, but she appeared on This Morning to say that she had adopted or found or whatever she'd done. Inherited 2 Yorkshire Terriers. Don't know where they come from. It's a bit of a stretch to think, I think she was somewhere up north. Bit of a stretch to think that 2 Yorkies from, not Yorkies, Norfolks, 2 Norfolk Terriers have made their way from down here, down in Cornwall, right up to where she was. But anyway, the good people, they got together. The people on Twitter, the owners of Margie and Ruby, got onto this morning. This morning got back to them, and I think it turned out they weren't the same dogs. But the power of social media is working, folks. It got them to where they wanted to be. They still haven't got dogs back though. So if you jump on social media, just literally type in Margie and Ruby, M-A-R-G-I and Ruby. They're all over Facebook, they're all over Twitter, they're all over social media, got Instagram accounts. Really sad if you're into your dogs. To have 2 dogs go missing is not a good thing to do. Let's continue with some more music, and then what we're going to do, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have some love games, some level 42. Mr. Mark King there, of course, the connoisseur of the old slap bass level 42. Of course, as we all know, we say every single time for level 42, that is the best thing to come from the Isle of Wight since the Red Funnel Ferry. Let's have some Prodigy. Let's bring the tempo up a bit, shall we? Why not? Prodigy there, the late, great Keith Flint, as bass drive just reminded us, of course, played 2 tracks this evening from people that are no longer with us. Rave icons from the 90s, of course, they're Maxi Jazz we played at the start of the show, of course. That was I've lost what I'm doing now completely anyway. That was Faithless, wasn't it? Yes, there you go. We have got to the bit we are going to discuss with you. If you're a pensioner, and I'm sure there's no pensioners listening this evening, of course. Well, I know Wall's listening, actually, our low budget Jason Statham, Poundland Jason Statham, as we know him. He's listening this evening, I think, so we'll insult him a little bit more a bit later on, maybe. But no, we need to know where the best place for pensioners to retire to, and it's not Liscard. Who knew? We all thought it was Liscard, of course, didn't we? Good evening, Will. He's back on the chat room this evening. He's saying, hello, Steve. There you go. Apparently, Bangor is the best place in Britain for pensioners to retire to. Wonderful survey has said the cathedral city has a low crime rate and affordable restaurants, and is set, it says here, in a beautiful landscape. Well, that's like doing a tourist information guide for this. Researchers, let's have some video, shall we? Here we go, hello. Researchers advised pros and cons, analysed even, let's start that again. Researchers analysed pros and cons of more than 70 places to create a pensioner-friendly index. Well, I'd imagine, no steps everywhere. I thought, nice little low walls, things like that. Financial advisors also looked into the factors such as cost of living, natural beauty, and house prices. It says here, Bangor is a historic city sandwiched between the beautiful Welsh countryside and the stunning Snowdonia National Park. Hardly surprising, it says here, it came on top of the survey ahead of Liscard. So the top 10, number 10 is Preston. Nope, don't know. Number 9, Swansea. Of course, that is Welsh. Number 8 is Carlisle, not Belinda Carlisle. Number 7 is Ipswich. Number 6 is Belfast. You see, you can go over the water there to the fair Emerald Isle. Number 5 is, of course, Alan Partridge's favourite place called Norwich. Sheffield, number 4, where a lot of steel is from. And Newcastle YI the Boys is number 3. Number 2 is Dundee, of course. Number Scotland gets into number 2s there. But it says here, and you've got to believe it, the best place is Bangor. And some people a fair while ago had a day trip there. Wow, there you go. I've completely tainted Leo's studio now with Fiddler's Dram there. Day trip to Bangor. They need to update it, I think. Didn't we have a lovely time the day went to Liscard? Let's have some Blue Eyes to Cult now, shall we? Don't feel the Reaper. If you are getting old. Wonderful Blue Eyes to Cult there, of course, going out to anyone who's feeling a bit old and a bit worn out, really, after Christmas, after the excesses of Christmas and New Year, of course. It's where we're going. We've got the wrong button. Let's press the right button. That always helps, doesn't it? Let's press that one as well. And let me do another one of our wonderful surveys. We love these surveys, don't we? Of course. And where are we? Yes. What are your worst habits? I should have some other people in the studio, shouldn't I? I should have Neil and Wal in it, but never mind. It says here, finishing, Neil as well. What we're talking about? Neil and Leo. Finishing other people's sentences, cracking your knuckles, and biting your toenails. Apparently all feature in a chart of our worst habits. Who bites their toenails? I can barely reach them with cutting things, let alone anything else. More than 90% of us, it says here, admit to having at least one bad habit, and with 1 in 10 admit to 10 or more weaknesses. How greedy is that? Swearing is the most common bad habit, followed by nose picking, not listening when others are speaking, and biting your nails. If you do all those in one go, you're very, very bad indeed. Overusing social media, hoarding, and not washing our hands after going to the loo also feature in the top 50. I don't know these people, really. The study found on average we have 4 bad habits, with only 1 in 10 of us claiming to have none at all. They are liars in that case. Let's have a little list here. So the top one we know is swearing is the top one. Number 7 is procrastinating. Number 8, not brushing your teeth more than twice a day. Number 12 is picking scabs. Well, everyone picks their scabs, don't they, surely? Number 14, breaking wind in front of others. Of course, you need to let the other person go first. Of course, don't be impolite. Let the other person break wind first. Where are we? Drinking too much caffeine is number 22 here. Watching reality TV, what level twaddle that is anyway. Dear me, Love Island is back on. Don't get me started on Love Island, please. Playing Candy Crush, is that still a thing? I don't know. Not covering your nose or mouth when you cough or sneeze is number 40 on this list. Tapping your fingers, pen on top of my foot at the moment. Tapping your fingers and pen on the table. Excessively loudly or clearing your throat a lot isn't good. Let's have a couple more of these. Checking your phone while other people are talking to you. I've got to say, very, very rude, isn't it? You go into a room these days and everybody is like this, aren't they? They're down on their phone. No, I'm not really listening. No. Yeah, terribly bad indeed. Let's have one more, shall we? What should we have? Having sugar in your tea or coffee. I need to have coffee. No, I need to have coffee. I need to have sugar in my coffee. I can't drink without it. I really can't. Although I've gone to cappuccino recently. Oh no, very metrosexual. Even on the lattes next, won't I? No, my son bought me a lovely coffee machine for my 50th last year, and I thought I can't just drink black coffee. I've got to start making some of these things. So yeah, we'll crack on with that. What can we have now? I tell you what, we've been discussing a few sins, haven't we? Let's see if Neil Pet Boy shops. Hello there. Don't bring me down. That brings us nicely to, where are we? We got a little survey here. Let's get rid of that for a second. Yeah, a little survey on drivers, bad drivers. It says on this survey here I've got in front of me. Let's toggle this again, shall we, so you can see my mush. BMW drivers, I've got one parked outside the studio this evening, are the most likely to be busted for reckless driving or caught speeding, according to research. What a tosh! Anyway, the survey discovered that it's only those who drive Beamers that are most likely to get busted for speeding and being irresponsible. As well as that, the survey also chucked up a whole heap of interesting, in their opinion, information. For example, Ford drivers are more likely than other drivers of any other car to have points on their licenses, apart from BMWs, it would seem. Whereas 44.6% of Ford drivers, if you want to be precise about it. If you drive a Suzuki or a Volvo and you have no penalty points, congratulations, you're amongst the safest drivers in the country. That's because they don't drive fast enough to get points, do they? And don't get me started on Honda Jazzes. We're going to bring back Honda Jazz Watch this year. We had a bit of a hiatus last year because Alan Plum phoned in a few times, and he is, of course, as we know, the chairperson of the Honda Jazz Appreciation Club, the Liscard division. Chaps, if you like Hell's Angels, these people. No, apparently, strangely enough, it's not just the make of car that plays a part in how badly you drive. Apparently, it says here, the colour also plays a part. Red car drivers are 10% more likely to get caught speeding than drivers of cream or white cars. Apparently, grey car drivers are the safest. Well, mine's black. Well, actually saying that, it's turning grey at the moment. Called the damn salt on the road. But so yeah, there you go. Let's have another track. A couple more tracks to go, and that's it for the week. We had a little preemptive it just now, and of course, Dire Straits. And they got a hotline to Memphis. They want to call Elvis. Dire Straits there, calling Elvis. Now it's nearly it for the evening. We have got one more track to go. That's the penultimate track, you see. We like the word penultimate, don't we? So it's a cracking word. So what I'm going to do is just pause that for a second, because we're not quite ready to go just yet, are we? Oh, no. Don't forget, of course, you can always look onto the website at any time at Phluid FM and buy us some merch. Got myself a cracking green Phluid FM t-shirts for my birthday last year from the boys. So going to team that with maybe some a beanie or a baseball cap this year. You never know. Whatever merch is coming your way. And of course, don't forget, tomorrow night coming your way, it's only L.Paine. They are back. Neil and Leo are back in this here studio. I've not managed to destroy it too much. I've got a few things working. I haven't quite figured the button that plays the jingles just yet, so I'm going to leave that one well alone. I think that's the best thing to do. If you don't know what you're doing, don't touch it, basically. So yeah, I'm going to play out with a track I'm going to dedicate. A very good friend of mine is a DJ, Ministry of Sound DJ. and we unfortunately lost him in April 2019, so the year before COVID struck. So very lucky he avoided that, and unfortunately, he died at a very young age, 30. Is Tony Hillier, and so this basically we did a number of things, a number of shows together. One of them was a sports show. We did a very popular sports show, 3 hours every Saturday afternoon, and we'd sit in there, and he'd fall asleep, not because of me, he'd just fall asleep at the desk in there, and because he worked so much, he was always doing stuff on computers, always doing his tech, always doing his gadgets, and he would he basically finish his show at 6 o'clock. We'd do a 3 to 6 show in the evening. He'd then go and get something to eat, and then head off into town and do 2 live DJ sets. He's played London Bridge. He's played everywhere. So one of a cracking track. And one of his tracks that we always remember him by. Also, by the way, every New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, for some strange reason, he has automated Twitter to send out a tweet from his account wishing everyone Happy New Year. And he gets me every single year. He sends his tweet out. So one of the first tracks he ever played as a DJ was this track on the finish on This Evening. It is Darude and Sandstorm. And as a bit of a tribute to the great man himself, we rejigged the sports show I was working on at the time, and we had this as the show's intro. So whenever I play it, it reminds me of some cracking times. So that's all for me this evening. As ever, thanks for listening, and make sure you catch me same time next week, probably back in the studio. You never know, but make sure you catch the boys tomorrow night between 7 and 9. Bye for now.